Hey game designers, in this video we're going to talk about how to do the facial expressions with our Bitmoji here. So real quickly, we want to do a animated GIF with our Bitmoji making the following expressions. From 1 to 20, we're going to put our eyeball from center to right to left and then back to center. Then from frames 21 to 30, we're going to blink our eyes. And from 30 to 50, we're going to do the rock expressions. Don't you know what the rock expression is? It looks like this. Okay, so we'll mimic this from frame 30 to 50. And this is what kind of looks like all put together. So the eyes kind of move left to right, they blink, and they do the rock expression. Okay, so let's go ahead and cover that. So the first thing we're going to do is going to go into the AI file, and we're going to go ahead and organize all of our stuff. So what we need now is our left eyebrow, our right eyebrow. We need our left eyebrow. We need the group here. We need the left eye shape. And we actually don't need this, but we'll go ahead and export it now, and then we'll choose not to import it later, and we'll explain why later. We have the right eyebrow, the right eye group, again, that contains the clipping mask and the right eyeball, the white outline, the white background, and then the white outline. Then there's everything else. So what we're going to do is we're going to click on all of them, and then we're going to hold Shift to deselect these. So we're deselecting these ones, and then we're going to group the rest of them. So I'm going to right-click and group the rest of it, right? And the rest of this is going to be called everything else. We're not going to export the reference, and we're not going to export the background. So this is all the layers we need: eyebrow, group, eyeball, and this one. So if you have this organized like this, you are good to go. Actually, I can probably click on this and let's see if we can do it, but I think we can just go and ungroup these. So if we ungroup these, oh, I take that back. I don't want to do that. What I really want to do is just pull these out separate from its own layers. We'll try it like this and see if we're able to import it. I'm pretty sure we're able to import this separately, even though they're individual layers. So let's go ahead and open up Adobe Animate and see if this is organized the way that we want it. Okay, so let's go ahead and go to Adobe Animate, and let's start a new project. Okay, in Adobe Animate, we're going to click on Open or Create New. We're going to go ahead and create a full HD. Okay, we're going to get organized here. Go File, Save As. We're going to save this as facial expression. Bitmoji for YouTube. I'm just going to go ahead and override my old one. You guys want to do the for YouTube part. Okay, and we're going to go ahead and import our asset. We're going to go to File, Import. Import to stage, and we're going to click on the Bitmoji asset that we just created. And now with this popped up, we're going to figure out what we're going to select. So we're going to go ahead and collapse. We're not going to use the mask. The reason why we're not going to use the mask is that we're going to have to make a dynamic mask that's using the white background to create the animations. We're also going to deselect the left eye black outline. Okay, again, we're going to click off the mask. Okay. And I'm sure I close that and I close that. And then I'm going to use the right eye white background, but I'm not going to do the black outline. Because if you were following in the previous assignment, we're going to use Adobe Animate's symbol ability referencing the same background and creating the outline from there. Everything else is not organized as everything else. So looks like I did not do this correctly. Let's go ahead and click Cancel. And let's go back to Adobe Illustrator. I believe I have everything else inside an everything else folder, but it is not liking this. It looks like it's putting all of these separately. So what we're going to do is we're going to create another layer, I guess, and we're going to stick everything else in it. And we're going to put that to the back. So now we have these two layers separate from each other. Let's go ahead and drag it completely out. There we go. So we have layer one, and now we have everything else. Okay, so I think that's how we want to import it so that we can keep everything else in one layer. Because it's kind of weird, but it looks like, well, maybe because I didn't save. Actually, maybe it's possible I didn't save. So let me grab everything else and put it back. I think I don't actually need to do this. So I'm going to go ahead and delete this. Okay, put everything else and drag everything else back to the bottom. Yeah, so disregard what I just said. I'm pretty sure we did it right. We just needed to not, we had needed to save, and we didn't actually save. Let me delete this layer. Just File, Save, and let's go back to Adobe Animate, and let's try it again. File, Import, to Stage, our Bitmoji asset and just make sure that we have the folder called everything else. Yeah, we do. So that was my fault. We already have everything working. Okay, so again, we're going to turn off the left eye mask. We're going to turn off the left eye black outline. We're going to turn off the right eye mask. We're going to turn off the right eye background, and we're going to leave everything else. Now, everything else, please import as a bitmap because we don't really want to sit here and play with hundreds of vectors. We're just going to call it everything else here. Okay, with that being done, let's go ahead and click import. Okay, and there we go. This is what we want. We're going to go ahead and drag it to the middle. Okay, and then we're going to go ahead and enlarge it using the Free Transform tool. We're going to drag the corner. You guys see here, we're running our proportions. Make sure we hold Shift. Okay, and make us about 80% of the height here. Okay, maybe that's too big. Let's make it just a little bit smaller. Okay, good. And now we're going to go ahead and go in here and make sure that we can access the individual layers. So we're going to click on layer 1, and we're going to right click, and we're going to click on break apart. And then we're going to right click, and then we're going to try to distribute to individual layers. So now I got layer 1, layer 3, and layer 4. And it looks like layer 4 includes our eyebrows, which we don't want. So we want to break apart that. Let's see if we can click on the individual eyebrows. Let's see if we can do another distribute to layers. It looks like the answer is no. It's not working. So this layer and this layer are broken apart, and this one is not. And do I have access to the individual eyebrows? Let's click on layer 3. Do I have access to the individual eyebrow? So the eyebrow is in layer 4, and this one's in layer 4. So we're just going to click on the eyebrow. If you're having these type of issues, we're going to click on the eyebrow. We're going to right click and go and distribute to layers. And we'll click on this eyebrow, distribute to that to layers. So now we have each of those on its separate layer. Okay, I'm going to click on this eye thing right here. It's also in layer 4. We're going to right click, distribute that to layers. I'm going to click on this one and distribute that to layers. So now we have everything separate out into its layers. So we go here. This is going to be the right eyeball. So let's go ahead and start reorganizing here. We got right eyeball. Over here, we have left eyeball. This one right here is the everything else. Okay, this one right here is the right left eye. Left eye, let's go left eye shape. This is the right eye shape. This one right here is the left eyebrow. And over here, we have the right eyebrow. Okay, and that seems to have all we need. Let's go and reorder some of these. So I'm going to drag the everything else to the bottom. I'm going to grab all the right stuff and move it to each other. Left stuff over here. So left eyebrow, left eye shape, right eyebrow, right eyeball, and then right eye shape. And this is, I got my right and my left mixed up here. So this is my right eyeball. And this is my left eyeball. Okay, I make mistakes too. Let's go ahead and fix that. So let's go bring that back down here, bring that back up here. So now we got left eyeball, left eyebrow, left eyeball, left eye shape, right eyeball, right eyebrow, right eyeball, and then right eye shape. Okay, so let's go ahead and finish up our eye so that we can create our mask and our outline here. So we're going to create 2 new layers for each of the left sides and right side. So the first thing I'm going to do is go under left eyeball, click the plus sign. And this one, I'm going to name it right away so I know what this is for. This is going to be our left eye mask. Up here under the right eyeball, we're going to do the same thing here. We're going to click a new layer, and we're going to create a right eye mask. And below the left eye shape, we're going to make the outline. So I'm going to click on this one, click the plus sign to go right above it. And if you do it out of order, you can always move it. Okay, what we want here is the left eye black outline. Okay, and right below here, or click on the one below it, click the plus sign. Above it, we're going to click on the right eye black outline. Okay, so you can see here that 4 of our keyframes have nothing in it because we're going to use the symbol. So we're going to click on the left eye shape, and we're going to create a symbol from it. We're going to right click, convert to symbol, and I'm going to call this left eye symbol. Okay, and then we're going to use that left eye symbol and drag that onto the mask layer and the outline layer. So starting with the mask layer, you're going to make sure you select the first frame of the left eye mask layer. You're going to drag this left eye symbol onto the screen. Then you're going to drag it and move it so that it aligns perfectly with your other eye shape. Now that it's done, you can go ahead and right click, turn it into a mask. Right? You can see that the mask is working right away. And we're going to do the same thing again, but now we're going to create the stroke. So again, I'm going to click on the black outline layer, drag a left eye symbol onto the scene, and then just go ahead and align it just perfectly with the shape. Now this one, we're going to enlarge. So if you have your free transform tool on, you're going to enlarge it. Okay, you're going to hold shift so that it stays nice and locked. And then now we're going to go to properties and give it a tint. So under properties, object, I'm going to give it a tint, a black tint, and that is perfect. Okay, so I'm going to lock up these two so that we don't end up clicking on it. Let's go to the right eye shape and do exactly the same thing. So again, we're going to repeat the process. We're going to click on the shape that we have. We're going to convert it to a symbol. I'm going to call it right eye symbol. Okay, I'm going to go and drag this right eye symbol I just created and drag it into these two layers, one for the mask, one for the right eyeball. So I'm going to go ahead and left click, drag, and make sure I click on the right eye mask. Drag that right eye there, and then go ahead and align it. Turn that mask into an actual mask. When you turn it into mask, it will lock both layers. I'm going to go to the black outline. I'll click on the first frame, drag my right eye symbol in, drag it right over the eye, and now I'm going to enlarge it by holding shift, getting it about the right size, and then I'm going to go ahead and give it a tint, going to properties, color effect, tint. Black has been chosen. And now I have finished the outline, the mask, and the shapes here. So we got the shape, eyeball, mask, and the black stroke. So the beauty of what we did is that now we can go and animate one of these shapes, and it'll animate the shape of the black outline and the mask at the same time. So we're going to create a total 50 frame animation. So I'm going to go ahead and drag this down here. I'm going to go all the way to frame 50. And we're going to go ahead and, for all of them, we're going to right click and create or just insert frames for now. And we're going to start moving the eyeball. So from frame 1 through 20, we just want to move the eyeball. So we're just going to do an eyeball exercise here. So I'm clicking the eyeball layer. I'm going to unlock it, because if you don't unlock it, you can't change the location of things. I'm going to go to frame 5. I'm going to insert a keyframe. On frame 15, I'm going to insert another keyframe. And on frame 20, I'm going to insert another keyframe. So going from left to right, all I want to do is go from center to the right, to the left, and to the right again. So I'm going to go here, and I'm just going to move the eye to the right here. And I'm going to go to frame 15, and then move it to the left. And frame 20 should back to be where I started with. So kind of going center, right, center, or sorry, left, then back to center. So now all I have to do is left click, drag, insert shape tween, or any other tween will work. I'm going to do a classic tween. Okay, and then once it's converted into a symbol, sure, we'll convert it into a symbol. And now we should be able to see the eye move. Okay, and let's see if we actually have a symbol for it. It looks like the tweens are symbols, which is interesting. Sure, we can do that. Let's see. Okay, all right, so we have the eye kind of moving. That's all we need, even though we have some extra objects, that's fine. To do the same thing with the right eye, so I need to, again, uncheck this, go to frame 5, make a keyframe, frame 15, make a keyframe, and then frame 20, make a keyframe. Of course, you can use the hotkey F5. So here, my eye's in the center. Here, I'm going to be looking to the right. Here, I'm going to be looking to the left. And here, I should be looking back to center. I'm going to left-click all 4 spans, and just do another classic tween. Sure. And now we have those. And now if we lock it, it should look just fine. Okay, so now we have the ability to move our eyeball. Now we're going to do the blinking part. So the blinking part, as you can see, we can use the pen tool and adjust the actual shape. But the thing is that now that we have a symbol, this symbol represents the eye shape, the outline, and the mask at the same time. So instead of animating inside our scene view here, we're going to animate in the symbol level. So we're going to click on Edit Symbol. So I did with just right-click on here, click on Edit Symbol. And to make our sides a little bit easier, our life a little bit easier, we're going to go to Dock and change the background to green. And all we're going to do is we're going to animate the eyes from frame 20 to 30 to make the eye blink. So on frame 20, I'm going to go over here, and I'm going to insert a keyframe. So I'm going to start using my hotkey F5 now. One at frame 30, and then one at frame 50. Okay. And for now, we won't worry about 30 to 50, but for now, we want to go from frame 20 to 30. We want to blink our eyes. So 20, I want my eyes open. Frame 30, I want my eyes open. In the middle, frame 25, I'm going to create another keyframe with F5. And on frame 25 is where I'm going to blink my eyes. So let me go ahead and zoom in a little bit here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the pen tool. I'm going to hold Control, left click. Okay, and you can see here that there's a whole bunch of knots, and a whole bunch of knots is kind of hard to work with. So what I want you to do is just left click twice to kind of reduce the number of knots that we are working with. You can see here I am removing a whole bunch of knots. You can also use the remove knot tool. So there's also a right click delete knot tool. So this also works. This might require us to only do one click. And all you really need is 2 knots. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep these 2 extreme knots over here. And I'm going to hold, go back to my regular pen tool here. And I'm going to hold Alt, left click, drag, and just kind of make the eye look like that. And expand it out, make it look like that. And I'm going to get rid of this one. Okay. And again, this is what my frame looks like, right? So I have basically the same 2 kind of eyes. Okay. Now, if I really want to make it pinpoint, I would actually just click on these and leave those the same. But I go ahead and click on these 2. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold Control, and I'm going to go ahead and blink my eyes. So I'm going to hold Alt to grab one of the handles and unlink them. And again, most of the time, your top eyelid is the one that does most of the animating, most of the moving. So I'm going to kind of blink like that. So it goes from there to there. Okay. And maybe I can make it look a little bit smoother, but that looks fine to me. So I'm going to go ahead and left click, drag, right click, turn it, create a shape tween, because this is a shape, and then see how the animation looks. So now I'm blinking and I'm opening my eyes. Okay, so there it is. That's the animation there for the eyes. If I go back now, you can see that my mask and my black outline are both going to blink. Okay. Now you can see here that there is a little bug right here with my actual asset for everything else. And I'm going to teach you how to fix that right now, actually. So I'm actually going to teach you how to fix that. I'm going to go to everything else, and you can see here everything else is just one big humongous object. So I'm going to go click on it, and I'm going to teach you guys how to edit this layer. So I'm going to right click, make sure that I'm selecting the first frame here. Go back to the first frame. Click on everything else. I'm going to right click and using my select tool, right click, and I'm going to go and use convert to bitmap, because there should already been a bitmap, because I reduced everything out. I'm going to right click and I'm going to go edit with Photoshop. Now, if you don't see Photoshop, just click on edit with, and you're going to find Photoshop either in your program files, Adobe, and then Photoshop, and then Photoshop.exe, or the application. And now we can go and edit everything else. So you won't see my eyes, you won't see my eyebrows, you won't see my eye shape, but you should see everything else, right? And you can see here that everything else is missing a few things. So I'm going to go ahead and fix it now. I'm just going to use my eyedrop tool, click on my skin color, go to my brush tool, and I'm going to fill in the rest of my face. So I'm going to click here. I'm going to expand out. And I'm going to paint the rest of my face here. Okay, and that should be good. And now right here, I need to kind of fill in a little bit of black color. So I'm going to go ahead and use my eyedropper tool. Go there. Really zoom in here and go ahead and paint this brush back in. Okay, I can do a better job than that. Let's just try it one more time. Okay, and then I can use my skin color. So I'm going to go over here real quick, fix this up real quick. Okay, again, I'm not trying to get too detailed with this particular example, but I'm going to go ahead and just use my eyedropper tool real quick so I don't have a hole. Okay, and then use my skin color real quick again. It should be here, up here, right here. So use my brush tool. And I'm going to tap, 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 tap. Okay, and then when you're done, just click on the exit tool, and it will actually save right back onto your project. So now if I blink, I should not see that background right there that was happening before. All right, so that's my right eye. Let's go ahead and do the same thing with my left eye, or my right eye here. So I'm going to click on the right eye shape. And again, all I really want to do is get into the symbol layer because I want to edit it for all 3 layers. So I'm going to go into my symbol layer. I'm going to do the same thing I did last time. So frame 20, I'm going to just hit F5. Frame 25, I'm going to blink. Frame 30, I'm going to go back to where I was. And then frame 50, I'm going to finish. On frame 25, I'm going to go ahead and blink. So I'm going to go ahead and right-click. And click on this right here. Go to my pen tool. Hold Control. Okay, I'm going to use double left click to get rid of some knots. And again, ideally, you want to get rid of the knots that are not the very corners. So ones that do not need to move. So I'm going to go probably get rid of that one. And that one. That one. That one. This one and this one. So these are 2 I'm going to animate. I'm going to hold Alt, left click, drag. Alt, left click, drag, just to make sure I don't collapse it on itself. And then delete this knot. And now I'm going to hold Alt and really get this thing to kind of swing inward. Okay, and then again, when you collapse it like that, it might collapse on itself. So I'm going to swing these out a little bit first so that they don't crisscross and cause that issue. Okay, so something along those lines. Okay, and I'm going to hold Alt, swing this one in. Make sure you don't cross, because you cross, you're going to create 2 different shapes. So now I have from here to here. Let's go ahead and left click, drag all the spans. Let's go ahead and give it a shape tween. And let's see if it looks nice and clean, a nice clean blink. Okay, looks good. Let's go ahead and back up, see what it looks like now. And now you can see my eyes going right to left, center, blinking my eyes. And now the last 30 frames or so, we are going to go into the rock. So I'm going to go ahead and keyframe here with F5, right here with F5. And we're going to do a little side eye. So we're going to go to frame 50. And we're going to go ahead and move the eyeball just a little bit here. So kind of give the side eye look. So just a little bit to the right here. Go to frame 45 and unlock that. And side eye that. Okay, and now we're just going to lock back on the mask. So now we have our little side eye. Okay, now we're going to kind of move the eyebrow just a little bit. And the great part is because the eyebrow is not going to be used as a mask or some other thing, we can directly change it from here to here. So we're just going to go to frame 30, F5. And then we're going to go to frame 50, F5. And on frame 50, we're just going to move the eyebrow to make it look like the reverse Nike sign that makes it look like the Rock's kind of eyebrow here. So I'm going to use my pen tool, hold Control, select the very edges. And again, I'm going to go ahead and just alter this. So again, I want to keep the extremes if I can. Okay. And I'm going to double left click the ones I don't need. Actually, I'm going to need about 4 knots. I'm going to keep that knot actually. I'm going to get rid of this knot. Let me get rid of this knot. 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 And get rid of this knot. And I'm going to hold Control and kind of lift this one up. Again, this is kind of the rock's signature look here. I'm going to move this knot up here. Move this knot up here. And I'm going to create kind of a reverse Nike sign. So again, I'm going to hold Alt. Drag it out. Okay, drag this one. Kind of drag it out. Hold Control. Okay, there we go. So that is the finishing shape on frame 50. So it's going to look like this, and it's going to end up like this. So I'm going to left-click drag all of these, and I'm going to go ahead and create a shape tween. Okay, and you want to keep a consistent volume here. So if you see kind of like this thing's kind of like not the same size, so you might want to fix that a little bit. I'm going to fix it just a bit. I'm going to hold Control, drag it down like that, drag it like that. Maybe hit hold Control and move this just a little bit more fat. Okay, so now it looks like that. It looks more consistent in shape. I can probably hold Control here and make this one a little bit more wider just to match the appearance of the previous one there. Okay, and now we have from that to that. Looks good. Do the same thing with the left eyebrow, except we're going to kind of move it down and make it squint. So here is my left eyebrow. Frame 30, I don't want to move it at all. So I'm going to hit the keyframe here. In frame 50, another keyframe there. On frame 50, I'm going to use my move tool first, because this one kind of moves. I need to unlock it, obviously. It's going to move a little bit downward, so I'm going to move it a little downward. And I'm going to just squish it. I'm not going to even bother using the pen tool. I'm just going to use the free transform tool and just kind of squint it a little bit. Okay, and again, it will use scalars to use tweens. So I'm going to go ahead and left-click and drag all three spans. Right-click, convert into shape tween, and let's see how it looks. And there we go. The entire right to left, back to center, blink our eyes, and get to the rock side eye. And there we have it. So all we do now is go ahead and save. Go to File, Export as Animated GIF. Click on Save. Save it onto your hard drive, and then upload it into Google Classroom. And I will see you guys next video. So let's actually click Save, and let's see what it says when it's done. And let's go and check it out. Let's see if it's in here. It's not in here, obviously. Let's see if it's in Documents. And let's actually preview our little MP4 before we go. And there you go. And I'll see you guys next video.